Have you ever found yourself bending over backward for someone who never seems to appreciate your efforts? Do you feel drained, emotionally exhausted, or even invisible after interacting with a particular person in your life? If so, you might be dealing with a narcissist. Narcissism is a term that gets thrown around a lot these days. But what does it really mean to be in a relationship with someone who has narcissistic traits? More importantly, why is your kindness, your willingness to give, forgive, and accommodate, slowly eroding your sense of self? This is not just about understanding narcissism. It's about understanding how your good nature is being weaponized against you. By the end of this video, you'll see why continuing to be kind to a narcissist is not just unproductive, it's destructive. So let's dive deep into this complex and often painful dynamic. If you're ready to reclaim your power and protect your emotional well-being, keep reading. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that empowers you to live your best life. Let's start by unpacking what narcissism really is. Narcissism is more than just someone who loves taking selfies or enjoys being the center of attention. It's a personality disorder characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. Narcissists often manipulate those around them to serve their own needs, and they have a remarkable ability to make you feel like you're the problem. They thrive on control and validation, and they'll go to great lengths to ensure they remain the focal point of any relationship. But here's the kicker. Narcissists are often charming, charismatic, and incredibly persuasive. They know how to draw you in, make you feel special, and then slowly but surely erode your boundaries. This is why so many people find themselves trapped in relationships with narcissists, constantly trying to please someone who will never truly appreciate them. Now let's talk about kindness. Kindness is a beautiful trait. It's what makes us human, what connects us to one another, and what allows us to build meaningful relationships. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, kindness can become your Achilles heel. Narcissists don't see kindness as a virtue. They see it as an opportunity. Your willingness to forgive becomes a license for them to repeat their hurtful behavior. Your desire to help becomes an open invitation for them to exploit your resources. Your empathy becomes a tool they can use to manipulate your emotions. The more you give, the more they take, and the less they respect you. This is not to say that you should stop being kind altogether, but rather that you need to recognize when your kindness is being used against you. It's time to stop pouring your energy into a bottomless pit and start protecting yourself. One of the most insidious aspects of being in a relationship with a narcissist is the way they distort your reality. Narcissists are masters of gaslighting, a form of psychological manipulation that makes you question your own perceptions, memories, and even your sanity. They'll deny things they've said or done, twist the truth to suit their narrative, and blame you for their behavior. Over time, this can leave you feeling confused, insecure, and utterly powerless. You might find yourself constantly second-guessing your decisions, apologizing for things you didn't do, or trying to prove your worth to someone who will never truly value you. This is why it's so important to trust your instincts and seek support from trusted friends, family members, or a therapist who can help you see the situation clearly. Another reason why being kind to a narcissist is so damaging is that it reinforces their sense of entitlement. Narcissists believe they are special, unique, and deserving of special treatment. When you go out of your way to accommodate their needs, you're essentially validating this belief. You're sending the message that their wants and desires are more important than your own. This not only fuels their ego, but also perpetuates the cycle of exploitation. The more you give, the more they expect, and the less they appreciate. It's a vicious cycle that can leave you feeling depleted, resentful, and utterly unappreciated. The only way to break this cycle is to set firm boundaries and stop rewarding their bad behavior with your kindness. But setting boundaries with a narcissist is easier said than done. Narcissists don't take kindly to being told no. They'll push back, guilt trip you, or even lash out in anger when you try to assert yourself. This is why it's so important to be prepared for their reaction and to stand your ground. Remember, boundaries are not about controlling the other person's behavior. They're about protecting your own well-being. You have the right to say no, to prioritize your needs, and to distance yourself from toxic people. It's not selfish, it's self-preservation. And while the narcissist may not like it, that's not your problem. Your primary responsibility is to yourself. It's also worth noting that narcissists often target kind, empathetic people because they know these individuals are more likely to tolerate their behavior. If you're someone who values harmony, avoids conflict, and strives to see the best in others, you may be particularly vulnerable to narcissistic manipulation. This doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It simply means you need to be more vigilant about protecting yourself. Recognize that your kindness is a strength, not a weakness, but also understand that it can be exploited if you're not careful. Learning to say no, standing up for yourself, and walking away from toxic relationships are all acts of self-love and self-respect. One of the most challenging aspects of dealing with a narcissist is the emotional toll it takes on you. Narcissists are experts at pushing your buttons and triggering your insecurities. They know exactly what to say or do to get under your skin, and they'll use this knowledge to keep you off balance. Over time, this can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and even trauma. You might find yourself constantly on edge, wondering what they'll do next or how you can avoid their wrath. This is why it's so important to prioritize your mental health and seek professional help if needed. A therapist can help you process your emotions, develop coping strategies, and rebuild your self-esteem. Another important thing to understand is that narcissists rarely change. While it's tempting to believe that your love, patience, and kindness will eventually soften their heart, the reality is that narcissists are deeply entrenched in their ways. They lack the self-awareness and empathy needed to truly change their behavior. This doesn't mean they're incapable of growth, but it does mean that the likelihood of them changing is slim, especially if they don't see a problem with their behavior. Holding on to the hope that they'll change is a recipe for disappointment and heartache. Instead of focusing on changing them, focus on changing your own behavior and breaking free from the cycle of abuse. So, what can you do if you're in a relationship with a narcissist? The first step is to recognize the signs of narcissistic behavior and acknowledge the impact it's having on your life. This can be difficult, especially if you've been in the relationship for a long time, or if the narcissist is someone you care deeply about. But denial will only keep you stuck in a toxic cycle. Once you've acknowledged the problem, the next step is to set boundaries. This might mean limiting your interactions with the narcissist, refusing to engage in their manipulative games, or even ending the relationship altogether. It's not easy, but it's necessary for your well-being. It's also important to surround yourself with supportive people who uplift and validate you. Narcissists thrive on isolating their victims and making them feel like they're the problem. Having a strong support system can help counteract this and remind you of your worth. Lean on friends, family, or a therapist who can provide a safe space for you to express your feelings and gain perspective. Remember, you don't have to go through this alone. Finally, take time to focus on yourself and rebuild your sense of self-worth. Narcissists have a way of chipping away at your confidence and making you feel like you're not enough. But the truth is you are enough, just as you are. Reconnect with activities and hobbies that bring you joy, practice self-care, and remind yourself of your strengths and accomplishments. Healing from a relationship with a narcissist takes time, but with patience and self-compassion, you can reclaim your power and move forward with your life. In closing, I want to thank you for taking the time to read this video. Dealing with a narcissist is never easy, but by understanding the dynamics at play and taking steps to protect yourself, you can break free from the cycle of abuse and reclaim your life. Remember, your kindness is a gift, not an obligation. Don't let anyone take advantage of it. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that empowers you to live your best life. You deserve to be treated with respect, love, and kindness. And it starts with how you treat yourself. Take care, and until next time, stay strong. Have you ever found yourself bending over backward for someone who never seems to appreciate your efforts? Do you feel drained, emotionally exhausted, or even invisible after interacting with a particular person in your life? If so, you might be dealing with a narcissist. Narcissism is a term that gets thrown around a lot these days. But what does it really mean to be in a relationship